Before I start the video, I want to give a huge spoiler warning to all those who haven't played or gone that far in Hades 2. I recommend playing and finishing the game before watching this video. For the past week, all I've been playing is Hades 2. I've done everything I can, from completing all Chaos Trials and all incantations to even killing Kronos with every weapon. There is a lot to talk about with this game. In this video, what I am going to say is my opinion alone, so please don't jump straight to the gun. I know that Hades 2 is in early access, and some things will change from this point to the official release date, so take everything I say with a grain of salt. Even so, I have overwhelmingly more positive than negative things to say about Hades 2. Anyway, let's jump straight into it. First off, let's turn our attention to some areas at Hades 2 that have the potential for improvement. Compared to the first game, the dash felt clunky when used at certain times. Sometimes I would dash way before an attack would hit and I would still get hurt. The overall flow switching from sprint to dash can feel awkward at times, and there is an uncomfortable cooldown timer between each dash. I can see why they thought spam dashing would be unhealthy for the game, but from what I noticed, there is sometimes so much clutter that it would call for me to want spam dashing. Enemy projectiles no longer get destroyed by your attacks and specials, even with the Moonstone Axe. I sometimes tried to attack their projectiles, thinking I would eradicate them, only to get hit. Even after all the time I spent putting into Hades 2, I'm still so used to destroying them that it makes me uncomfortable. When playing with mouse and keyboard, losing sight of your cursor is very easy. When fighting a group of enemies, I'll focus more on where my cursor was than the actual enemies. Even the color change doesn't help because it sometimes blends into the background. A nice fix is just an added feature to the settings that allow me to freely change the size of my cursor. Supergiant probably thought that they wanted to finish the story on release, but both the underworld and the surface end awkwardly. I still need clarifications about what Kronos' goal is of conquering the underworld and besieging the surface. I can understand why they cut the game when entering Zagreus' room, but no further context is given after that point, and the surface feels way too short to end it right after the fight with Eris, especially when Kronos' shop didn't have any highly valued items before the fight. Artifacts not having a model confuses me at times because it's tough for me to recognize them when they're just a gold ring with a letter attached. For the weapons, like the Sister Blades, I wish when I was using the charge attack, I wish I could target where my cursor was or something like that, instead of it being just full on non-target lock. Those are all the things I saw that I would like to be worked on or improved upon, but I know it is just my opinion. Now let's get on to the good parts of Hades 2. With the inclusion of not only the underworld but also more content from the surface and the Chaos Trials, a variety of content that uniquely challenges the players has been added. For example, the Trial of Doom is challenging because your health is very low throughout the run, making you very cautious every step of the way, even through the boss fight with the Sirens. Melanoe's goal is obvious. She wants to avenge her family and rescue the underworld from Kronos' grasp. She also assists the surface from the siege Kronos has put upon them, but everyone around her, especially Nemesis, instills the thought that she is not worthy enough and that someone else should do it. I personally like the story that has been told so far, from both Melanoe and even Kronos' side. Speaking of Kronos, that guy is an asshole. His character design and interactions he has with Melanoe make it seem like he is a pompous bitch, and his fight reflects it. His fight is actually very cool and challenging, first fighting you in the main hall of the Hades house, then bringing you into his own realm when he feels threatened. The overall theme is good, with him using attacks like they bend time and using the colors to demonstrate that it is the sand of an hourglass. I especially like that when he tried to pause the game, he says, "No," and then forces you to continue the fight. We don't talk about the incantation though. Eris is also included in those hard fights. I can't believe they made the most annoying characters hard fights. It makes me want to beat the shit out of them even more. And when it comes to overall gameplay, I'm really impressed that it isn't just a copy and paste. Even though the game feels very similar to the original, it has its own unique feel. Combat feels faster overall, and the player has more options when using charged attacks. Mana is now a resource so that you aren't spamming these charged attacks. And the cast is now a giant circle that forms around you that limits the movement of enemies when they're doing certain attacks or just moving around. And bosses have a specific flow that doesn't make you wait 10 years to get an opportunity, even though like some parts might do that for Kronos' second phase. More unique weapons have been introduced with their own aspects, and more will come later. You can also upgrade them further from their original state. The Arcana cards are replacing the Mirror Knight now. They're more balanced because you can't have every card offered to you in one build. Upgrading the cards requires the player to get specific materials instead of just one now. However, it is not impossible to get these materials because they're so spread out throughout the realms. You also use the materials you collect for incantations, which help progress the game, whether it be for your runs or the characters around you. New artifacts have been added, adding a variety of new buffs and stats. Newly added companions can offer everything from extra health and a death defiance to even being able to use your gathering tools. There are more new characters and gods returning, from Hera, Apollo, and Hephaestus, to returning favorites like Poseidon, Aphrodite, and Hermes, and many more. Also included is our favorite emotional support punching bag, Skelly, now called Skellymius. I think that's how you say it. I also like how that all the gods look like they're dressed to fight, given that the context of what's going on with the surface. Some of the gods' boons also have been adjusted. Some boons now have an added element attached to them, which allows you to go for a specific boon that is altered by the number of elements you have, like Hephaestus and Aphrodite. That includes my overall review. There's definitely more to talk about, but for time purpose, I'm ending it there. Those are my honest thoughts of the game so far. If I had to give a game a ranking, I'd probably give an 8.8 out of 10. I like the general overall flow of the game it gives off, and it's still exciting to continuously do runs and mix and match different boons and offerings. If you have any differing opinions on what you feel about the game, let me know down in the comments section. If you like what I do here, please feel free to like and subscribe to be updated on any future release content. And I appreciate you for getting this far into the video. Alright, I'll see you guys later. Thank you for watching. Bye.